Welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston, and it is great to have you here with me for our weekly I Ching overview, this time for the week commencing the 19th of December 2022. We are halfway through the month. Oh, December! Christmas is coming. So if you haven't yet done so, go and check out the monthly overview for December so that you can connect with the wonderful amassing of energy and resources and harvesting, and of course, following the process step by step. So go and check that out if you have not yet done so. Last week, we had the dragon, okay? We had the power of the dragon in Hexagram 10, treading, coming to connect us to the creative energy we are following, that we are connecting to, bringing us the awareness that we work with the dragon energy as the young girl following the dragon. We do that by taking calm, mature steps one at a time, that we have a process, we follow a process, we don't rush ahead blindly and stand on the tail of the tiger and irritate him, okay? We have to treat the process that we are part of with respect. And with that comes this wonderful dispersing energy, this opportunity to release even more obstacles. We've had this hexagram so many times over. There's lots more for us to do. Let us release our illusions and dispel our delusions and clear up misunderstandings and release and unlock things where there's separation and there's a frozen, locked issues. Okay, so this week, what is the I Ching asking us to pay attention to? So our first hexagram for this week is hexagram 38, opposition. This is the hexagram of the two daughters, okay? You can imagine two sisters who do not get along, do not see eye to eye. We have fire and we have lake. And so the image created by this hexagram is that of opposition, okay? There is a fundamental disagreement of the way two parties are seeing the situation. So when this hexagram comes into our lives, our flow of change, our development this week, our focus is going to be on resolving the opposition that we face. So the opposition might be literally an internal opposition, okay? So there's two parts of your thinking on one issue and you are stuck trying to work out what is the thing that you need to do, how do you need to move forward. Yet it is likely that it is an external opposition, okay? So this can be someone that you're struggling to come to a consensus with, or to collaborate with, or to agree with. Perhaps in a business sense, this is another company, another entity, or a partner that you're working with where we just don't see eye to eye. You know, we keep trying to talk, but we keep on slipping past each other. We just don't understand each other. And so this creates tension. With this hexagram, there are two things that we can think about. When we think about opposition, number one, is the opposition, is this kind of diverging interest or this disconnect that you're experiencing internally or with another, does this give you the signal that it's time to leave the situation? Nothing can be achieved here. So that's one aspect. Thinking about, is this really an opposition that's giving me feedback that there just isn't a connection? The second part is the connection important? And we have to find a way through the opposition. And I'd always encourage that, unless it's absolutely clear that this is two paths, you know, going in opposite directions and nothing can resolve this, that we find a way to bind the two opposing forces together, to overcome the conflict by finding something that binds the two together. And you've heard me talk about this idea of how we make mayonnaise, right? We have an oil and we have a liquid, a vinegar, and we use an egg to bind the two together. It emulsifies these two liquids, the oil and the water, into something different entirely, into a third option. So if you are facing a situation where you have that opposition, where, you know, we're just not connecting, we're not seeing eye to eye, it's not about one side winning the argument, okay, and the other side conceding. It's about creating something new where both parties move and shift forward and find a new place together. And with this hexagram, the way we do that is we go into the shadow. Okay, the shadow is the darkness, the unconscious, the subconscious, the hidden things, the dark things we don't want to see, the kind of the fears and anxieties and underlying emotional issues that are actually keeping this discord in play. And we need to dig around in that darkness, right, into the dark places, into the shadow, and the answer of how we emulsify, how we find a solution comes out of there. So wherever in your life, if it comes up for you that you feel this oil and water, okay, just think of that idea of this oil and water. Oof, okay, these two things are not connecting. Either this is a path that is going nowhere, or we need to find an emulsified third solution that helps us bring these two parties together. And the work to do that is what this hexagram brings us the energy and the insight to do. So in this week, we will no doubt all face some kind of opposition where we have to find a way forward. And the way forward, dig into the shadow, into the hidden things, the things you can't see, bring them to the surface, bring them to the light, and emulsify a new creative solution that's not one side winning and losing. Okay, so we have two changing lines for this week in the third and the sixth position. So the third position is a tricky line because it's just before we go into the second trigram. It's on the cusp, it's a transitionary line. And this particular changing line is almost a doubling down and intensifying of this opposition. Opposition has reached its utmost power and potential, okay? Things are stuck, okay? And the opposition is stronger then you have the energy or the resources or perhaps even the will to overcome. So there's something around perhaps in the first few days of the week where you realize the opposition is very intense and it brings you to a stop. Okay. What do we do with this? Okay, the line says that as we come into the first part of this week ahead, we stay indoors. Okay. So we don't leave our home symbolically, we stay indoors, we stay where we are. Okay, so staying at home is another way of saying stay where you are. Okay, don't venture out on big enterprises. Stay at home, stay focused, and let this discord, this opposition that's very tight, that's very, very hard to move now, release. Let it do its own thing. And in time it will. Okay, so it's almost like if you find that there's this kind of conflict or difficulty moving forward, the opposition's too strong, just leave it, okay? It will release when it's ready, okay? And then our next changing line in the sixth position is the culmination line, okay? It's the sixth line, it's the end of the cycle of this hexagram. And this changing line says, help comes, okay? The cavalry has arrived. And you see on the distant horizon the thunder of hooves of horses and the dust, okay, as the cavalry arrive. And from where you are standing, you look at this kind of entourage on its way towards you, and all you think is, they're coming to attack me. These are my enemies, okay? But they're not. They're people coming to help you, and they are a good candidate for a marriage alliance. Okay, so symbolically what this is saying is, when help comes, what we might be tempted to do is to think and prejudge the help as an enemy that's actually here to harm me. And what we have to do as we work through this week, as the help comes, is stop ourselves in our tracks of reacting in that way and saying, oh, the enemy's approaching. Be open to the help that is coming your way. Okay, trust the process and have your feelers open, be wise. But in this week, the help comes to resolve the opposition, okay? And we see it as an enemy. And our task is to change how we see it, because actually, this is the help we've been asking for. Okay, can you do that? All right, so moving from the energy of opposition through to our outcome hexagram for this week, our second hexagram is hexagram 34, great power. You'll remember, week before last, we had this hexagram, and so here it comes in again. This hexagram 34, great power, is all about the strength of the ram, okay? The ram who puts his horns into the hedge and pushes his way through. And it's a hexagram that says we have lots of strength, we have lots of power, and our task is to apply that power in a very focused way. Is to have a central fixed idea we are working towards, being really clear on what it is we're trying to do, and then put our shoulder into it and push through the obstacles, make it happen by applying our power, okay? It's permission to push forward. With every hexagram, there's always a warning, okay? And with this one, we can hurt others in the process. Our power can hurt ourselves. If we crank something too tight, we can land up breaking our tools or breaking our wrist. It's that idea of power that's unwisely applied with force can also be dangerous. So our task is to be emotionally aware and tuned into the room to understand how our power, where we become the bully, where we become forceful, and how that can hurt other people around us, and to just temper that back a bit and take a few steps back and say, oh, okay, I'm reading the room. I'm feeling that I'm pushing too hard right now. Let me just go into a dialogue process for a moment. And when you do that, and when you apply your power wisely, okay, without just unfettered, brutal attack, okay, you master the ability to achieve great things. And this week we have the opportunity to do that, to achieve great things, because we've applied our power well, and we have overcome this opposition. We found a way to turn the conflict into a wonderful, positive, creative tension. And that is the switch we need to flick. All right, thank you so much. Please, if you got some value out of this episode, please hit the like button and share and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you to the podcast listeners for tuning in as well. And I look forward to seeing you on the socials as well. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.